Hello guys, so today I have a podcast which is to talk about trusting in Allah and how sometimes you may think he's doing the wrong thing, but in reality he has a better plan. And I'm going to be using my own personal story. Isn't going to be one of those podcasts where I have some made up, fabricated story like, oh, so and so got into a car crash and he thought it was bad, but turned out the entire his city was going to be nuked and that saved him, blah blah blah. Cause like I see a lot of these stories and they're all just this made up thing, and I'm like, give me something real to prove it. So I have a real story. And yes, I'm eating breakfast while recording this because I'm just lazy like that. So this is my story with dropshipping. And before I get lectured in the comments, I did not know it was haram at the time. And in fact, I still don't know if it is. I hear some people saying it's haram, but I haven't gotten an explanation. So if it is haram, just for context, I did not know if it was haram or halal at the time. And if it is haram, if someone could provide me an explanation as why, that would be greatly appreciated. But here's my story with it. I spent a year studying drop shipping. I had this plans what I was gonna drop ship. I was gonna make a store. I was gonna link it with this supplier, and I won't say the name of the supplier. We'll just call him supplier. And it was gonna be this great big plan, and I was gonna be making a bunch of money, and I was excited. And I finally make my account with the supplier. I set up a store and I'm ready to start selling. And in order to use this, and keep in mind I'd spent a year studying this, a year working. This was a culmination of a year's work. I go to load my funds and I get error. I'm like, what the heck, error? So I look into some research, and some people say, oh, your account is new, you have to wait a while, 24 to 48 hours. So I wait 24 to 48 hours. Error. I'm like, what the heck? It says, okay, VPN. Okay, I try VPN. No, I still get error. Okay. I try finishing this account setup. I still get error. And I'm like, yeah, Allah, like, why is this happening? Like, this is a year's work. Like, why are you giving me error? Like, this shouldn't be like this. I don't know, like, why you're doing this to me. I was panicking. I was in tears. And I have to contact customer support, and they're like, you have to do some passport verification in order for us to verify, and then we could clear it. And I go to ChatGPT, I go to all sources, and they're like, after this passport verification, it should work. Like, my dad and others that have told me, they're like, yes, sometimes this stupid, these stupid systems make you do passport verifications, but it should work. You have nothing to worry about. And I was like, Ya Allah, like, are you doing this to me? Because this has just been a nightmare for me already, even before the passport verification. And I was like, why? I just made this account and I have to verify my passport. What is this? And they don't get back to me, and they said, oh, it should be 48 hours, and it had been a few days by then. So I write them an email saying, like, what's up, like, why can't you get back to me? And they tell me, oh, we're truly, and I still remember this moment, like, this moment literally, like, sunk me to my core. And they're like, we're truly sorry to inform you, but you can't load your funds. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to do this other complex thing. We know this might not be the outcome you hoped for. And I was pissed. I was mad because this other solution was so bad that literally everyone said, like, at that point, there's no point in using them. And my year dream had come crashing down. I was in tears, I was mad, and me and my father are like, let's just cancel an account, like, we're not gonna use these people. And I was like, Ya Allah, why me? How come all these other people had this work for them, and why not me? Like, why are you doing this to me? And to say my iman took a hit is an understatement. Like, I was like, Ya Allah, like, why are you doing this to me? Like, what did I do? Like, what bad deeds could I have done to, like, deserve this? Like, I couldn't think of a bad deed to deserve this. I was like, Ya Allah, like, why are you doing this to me? Like, I was mad. And my iman just stayed low for a while, and I'm not going to get into too much details because I know people freak out over low iman. And I'll admit it wasn't good, it wasn't smart, but people act like, oh, like this is a problem with some Muslims. They're like, oh, you have 1 second of law, man, you're going to hell for eternity. You're a bad person, which is just insane. And I'll get into that later. That's a topic for another time. But then I decided to do more research in the company to find out what's happening behind them, and turned out they were a scam company. Essentially, they give you 2 weeks for free trial and then start billing you, but their services don't work. They don't fulfill orders. Sometimes they take extra money out of the blue. They had this complex credit system. Um, and I read like a lot of stories. Like this one guy had like many orders worth thousands of dollars which weren't delivered, and then that completely tanked his eBay store. Another kid just had randomly $400 taken from him, and then they ghosted him. Some people were billed extra, and they were told close your account and make another one, and when they closed their account, they still kept billing him and ghosted him. People were just having money stolen from them left and right. They weren't like delivering on their products, and these sellers, they were getting like bad reviews. And I was like, and that's when it hit me, like Allah basically saved me. Like, had I been able to load my funds, I still don't know why it didn't work, because it worked for everyone, so I'm gonna have to assume, but Allah knows that He protected me. But had I been able to load my funds, I would have had money taken from me. I would have been billed excessively. I would have had my store destroyed. Like, I would have been ruined. All I did was lose a few hours of time and get mad. These people lost hundreds and thousands of dollars, had their reputations destroyed, had extra billings, were ghosted. That was not good. And ever since then, that strengthened my like iman. Like, it really got me into Islam, and it really inspired me to want to become a scholar, to want to be a sheikh one day. It inspired me to make a YouTube channel. It inspired me to learn about Islam and to find my purpose, which is another story for another time, but how Islam is my purpose now. Now, the thing that's important is like balancing dunya and akhirah, because that's a struggle I notice me and other Muslims face. And let me just take a bite. Because balancing dunya and akhirah is the hardest thing, is one of the hardest things to do. And at the end of the day, you have to do both. Because in this life, you're meant to worship, read Quran, study Islam, all that stuff. But at the same time, you also have to do something with your life. You can't just sit in as a hermit all day worshipping. Like, look at Hamza, Khalid ibn al-Walid, Umar ibn al-Khattab. These people were out there doing something. They weren't just sitting like hermits in worship. Likewise, you have other people that are just like doing so and so for the dunya. They're like, oh yeah, let me ignore my prayers, let me not read Quran, like I have to make this business deal. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna need both. On Judgment Day, you're gonna need your worship, your salat, your Quran, your zikr. That's gonna be important. But you're also gonna need your deeds, what you actually did with others, helping people, selling, giving to charity, all that stuff. Getting in shape, not just being a lazy hermit, because being lazy is a sin. And at first, I want to talk about is Muslims who go for dunya. They have the mentality where it's like, because they're like, okay, I have to focus on this dunya, I have to build something with my life, and then they're like, okay, I'll just ignore these salats, I have to get this business deal, and are like, forget it, let's spend some time studying for the exam, I don't have time for the Quran. And some even go into like sins and justify it. Like, I've seen some Muslims are like, yes, you can take some riba, but it's only a little riba. You're not taking a lot of riba, so it's no big deal. And I'm like, riba is riba, whether it's riba by a penny or riba by $1,000,000. That's like me saying, okay, this girl's hot, so I'm just gonna kiss her and touch her body a bit. I'm not gonna get in bed with her. It's completely fine. Like, no, it's not fine. And that's essentially like what they're doing. Like, they're completely focused, like this focus from Allah and none. And I sort of, in the past, have been at a time where it's like I was just dunya, 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 and all I really was doing was just my salats, and occasionally I'd read bits of Quran. And then ever since I started focusing on Islam, my life has got better, was the missing piece. Likewise, there are those that focus completely on Akhirah, like just worship, 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 and don't do anything with their life. They don't help others, they don't work, they don't get, they don't help others, and because they're just too busy worshiping, and they're like, okay, like I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna read the whole Quran today, I'm gonna say Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah a million times today, I'm gonna pray all the sunnahs, and then I'm gonna sit and watch Sheikh Hasim Al Hakim for 10 hours, and they don't do anything. And likewise, these people are missing working in this life, helping others, standing up against injustice. Because you need prayer and action, and these people are just solely focused on the praying part. And at the end of the day, the reason these people go their two paths is because they're bad. Like those that are solely focused on the dunya, they're like, oh, you're talking about spirituality and praying, like that's just cope, blah blah blah. I'm making $10 million a month. I live like in a penthouse, have a Lamborghini, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but you're missing out on the akhirah. You're missing out on the worship Allah of like the biggest reason why you were created, and that's gonna cook you on Judgment Day. And for those that are solely focused on praying, they're like, oh, nah, look at you, you're distracted with materialism. I pray for 10 hours a day, do zikr for 15 hours, and read Quran and watch Shaykh Hasim Al Hakim for the rest. And they're like, see, I'm on a different level. I'm above you, above working, above helping others and all that stuff. I'm like, no, you're not above others. You're not on a different level. You're just lazy. Like, you're just lazy and you're coping. And all in all, that's my podcast for today.